The headline story this week is the petition demanding a general election. Naturally, it featured prominently in this week's Prime Minister's questions, and, unsurprisingly, it caused quite a stir. Starmer found himself ridiculed and roasted in the chamber. In today's video, we'll dive into the reactions, break them down, and cover the latest news from across the UK. But first, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and join our rapidly growing community.
He should resign and find out. Until then,
I'll decide when there's more.
Mr. Speaker, until then, I'm the one asking the questions. There's a petition out there, 2 million people asking him to go. He's the one who doesn't know. He's the one who doesn't know how things work. It is not government that creates growth, Mr. Speaker. It is business. His employment secretary, I don't see her here, she wants more young people in work. But businesses say they are cutting jobs because of the Chancellor's budget. His Deputy Prime Minister, she is not here. Her employment rights bill will stop businesses hiring. That's what they say. The CBI said on Monday that the dots of the government's policy don't join up. They're right, aren't they?
And she talks about a petition. We had a massive petition on the 4th of July in this country. And we spent years taking our party from a party of protest to a party of government. They're hurtling in the opposite direction.
What a load of nonsense, Mr. Speaker. We had a budget in March this year and tractors were not blockading the streets of Whitehall afterwards. So let me give him another example of a real business and to date and made it easier for people. Everything he has done is attack people. The budget was an attack on farmers, an attack on workers, an attack on pensioners, an attack on the young, and an attack on thousands of charities and businesses across the country. The whole system is broken, Mr. Speaker, and he is making things worse. He is making things worse.
Their constituents will be affected.
Mr. Speaker, he is making things worse. Everyone is unhappy. Isn't it a good thing that the Chancellor is an expert at customer complaints?
Mr. Speaker, I think she's just read out the charge sheet against the last government. Everything is broken. And they come here every week with absolutely nothing to offer except complaints. Nothing constructive, no new ideas. They don't know what they're doing from one day to the next. Living in this fantasy world that everything was fine apparently for 14 years. Well, the country's fed up with those fantasies. They've got rid of those fantasies. We're going to take the hard decisions. They're jumping on every bandwagon that's passing. We're taking the country forward.
In other news, pensioners are facing an agonising winter after Chancellor Rachel Reeves announced cuts to the winter fuel allowance. A new survey reveals many will be forced to choose between heating their homes and eating hot meals. The impact on vulnerable elderly people is alarming, with over half saying they'll need to cut back on heating at home. Last year, over 75% of pensioners relied on their winter fuel payments to cover essential energy costs, including heating, hot water, and running household appliances. But under the government's plan to restrict payments to only those on pension credit or other means-tested benefits, the number of recipients will plummet from 11.4 million to just 1.5 million. Research from Age UK paints a bleak picture. Over a third of older people say they'll face financial struggles without the payment. 1 in 10 pensioners reported they'd need to reduce hot meals to make ends meet. The situation is particularly severe for those on other benefits, but no longer eligible for winter fuel payments, with 53% saying they'll struggle financially. Nearly a quarter of pensioners, 24%, used their winter fuel payments specifically for cooking last year. The drastic cuts are part of measures introduced by Reeves to address public finance shortfalls, but they come at a significant cost. Age UK has warned that millions of elderly people will now face impossible choices between heating their homes and meeting essential needs. We try to limit ourselves to just 1 hour of heating a day, an 81-year-old man shared with the charity. Another pensioner, aged 87, confessed, "I'll have to stay in bed longer and only get up to eat." Caroline Abrahams, charity director at Age UK, commented, "It's no surprise to us at Age UK, nor should it be to anyone else, that the vast majority of older people used their winter fuel payments on energy-related costs last year. With fuel prices having soared compared to 5 or 10 years ago, even those who thought they'd be relatively secure in retirement have been forced to tighten their belts." A government spokesperson defended their stance, saying, "We remain committed to supporting pensioners, with millions set to benefit from a state pension increase of up to £1,900 during this Parliament as part of our commitment to the triple lock. Over 1 million pensioners will continue to receive the winter fuel payment, and pension credit claims have risen by 152%. The government also emphasised other support measures, such as the £150 warm home discount, cold weather payments, and the extension of the Household Support Fund to help struggling households manage bills and essential costs over the winter. Age UK is urging those affected to contact their local council to explore available support. In other news, King Charles has reportedly adjusted his diet following his cancer diagnosis earlier this year. The 76-year-old monarch was diagnosed with an undisclosed form of cancer in February, and, according to Tom Parker Bowles, the son of Queen Camilla, the King has been re-evaluating his eating habits to focus on his health. Tom revealed, "The King, after what he's been through recently, is looking more closely at what and when he eats. Food is part of the body's medicine. It knows when we're giving it the right things." Tom also noted that Queen Camilla, aged 77, has reduced her intake of lamb, beef and pork, red meats identified as a probable cause of cancer by Cancer Research. Speaking of King Charles, he said, "This isn't me being sycophantic. I'm just stating the facts. He really is a food hero. Ask him about artisan British cheeses or the number of apple varieties in the Highgrove orchard, and King Charles can talk for hours." According to Tom Parker Bowles, the King is remarkably knowledgeable about such topics. While working on his new book, Cooking in the Crown, Tom spoke to the King's chef, Mark Flanagan, and even visited the kitchens at Buckingham Palace. Speaking about the royal family's Christmas traditions, Tom said, "People keep asking me what royal Christmases are like, but I've never actually attended one. From what I've discussed with my mother, it all sounds fairly traditional. A decent-sized Norfolk turkey with all the trimmings, mince pies, and Christmas pudding." As for his own Christmas plans, the 49-year-old food critic admitted he wasn't entirely sure. "I might spend it with my mother and the King, or I might be peeling the veg before heading to the local for a pint." King Charles stepped back from royal duties for 3 months after his cancer diagnosis, but returned to work in April, visiting a cancer treatment centre with Queen Camilla. Princess Kate, 42, also revealed that she had been diagnosed with cancer in February and completed her chemotherapy in September. Buckingham Palace has not disclosed the type of cancer either the King or Princess Kate faced. What are your thoughts on today's discussion? Let me know in the comments below. If you haven't already, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content on British life. Thank you for watching. Take care and goodbye. Care.